Etude number 2. This etude is marked Adagio Cantabile, and it is marked 8th note equals 132 and 144. Adagio Cantabile means slowly and singingly. We want to make sure that this doesn't become a funeral dirge either, though. Okay, the 8th note tempo is marked fairly quickly. I personally like it somewhere around 140, 142. Make sure that you're just playing as lyrically as possible, okay, and super connected. This marks sostenuto. Now, let's talk a little bit about some of the errata that are mentioned on the website. In measure 31, starting on beat 4, there should be a D that's changed to D natural. It voids the D flat that occurs earlier in the measure. In the cadenza, in measure 38, the accidentals do not carry throughout the measure. They only affect the notes that they are adjacent to. All right, so this etude should be done in a very singing style with a lot of expression, and we want to make sure that you're varying the tempos up, where you see all of these rallentandos and then a tempos and più mossos. There should be a lot of variations in the tempi. The ornaments need to happen before the beat. Okay, and you want to make sure that in the cadenzas, the cadenza is measure 38. You can play what you want. The note values are suggestions. Now we can't just go crazy and play anything that we please, but you can push and pull tempo a good amount. Okay, the goal is to create tension release. Okay. So let's talk about the etude from top to bottom, okay? We want to have a good tempo picked out in our head before we start, and you want to make sure that once you start, you're going. You can start and you don't have to play too soft. You don't want to be walking on eggshells when you try to come in. Plus, we've got to be able to get softer for the pianissimo dynamics, so make sure it's just a good, comfortable piano, okay? But once you get going, make sure that you're holding a good tempo through the first 4 measures. And then once we come into measure 9, It's marked PMO, so you can move it just a little bit. Move it a little bit there, okay? One of the things that I noticed is that when people take breaths at the beginning, they're taking too much time away from the piece. They take a breath and it's like an extra 2/8 notes happen that shouldn't be there. So make sure that when you're taking a breath, you're taking your breath in time and it moves with the musical phrase. Now the first spot where we actually get to slow down and create a lot of motion within the piece, and it's actually a slow down motion, is in measure 15. We have a rallentando connected to a fermata. So we want to make sure that we slow down a good bit, and you can listen to that in my performance of the Etude and see how that goes. You can finish measure 16 in the slow tempo, take your time breathing, and then measure 17 right back to the original tempo. Make sure that you're keeping the piano dynamic and that you're not letting your crescendo and that pianissimo get too loud. We don't want to get out of the character of the phrase. We don't want to crescendo too loud just because we can. We should keep these crescendos, these hairpin crescendo decrescendos within character of the line. Make sure that you take the chance to emote and express the forte at the pickup to measure 25, and then quickly get back down to piano. And then again, we have another pick up to measure 27, forte, and then getting back down to piano. And we also have a rallentando in that measure. So measures 27, 28, we can slow down. And then at the tempo 1, tempo primo, we see F, forte, back in the original tempo. The trill should start on the C sharp and go quickly. Da, 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 da. I would finish the trill and stop trilling on a C sharp right before you do the grace notes out. Make sure that you're listening to my recording. And then in measure 30, get down the piano. It's a sudden piano. Make sure you're watching the D natural again in the latter half of measure 31. And then crescendo up to forte, measure 33. You can rallentando measures 30 at the end of 33 through 34 and 35. Okay, there's a lot going on here in these last measures. 35 can be treated as a quasi cadenza. You can move tempo a little bit, but you shouldn't be changing a lot of the note values very much. So if I were to sing it, measure 35, da 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 off, da 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 re bom pa da 3, da 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 3, da 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 dee dum da, chromatic all the way down, right? So that's how I treat 35. And you can listen to the recording, my recording of it, or, of course, Mark Hughes is the person who picked these recordings. I'd listen to Mark Hughes play. Mark's a fantastic player. So, hi, Mark. He's not going to watch this. Anyway, make sure that you are, once you're in the cadenza, that you have a very clean chromatic run from the G all the way down to the C natural. Don't get going too fast, okay? You want to make sure that you're getting through it just fine. Don't go too slow on the 30 seconds coming back up. B natural C, E natural G, B flat C, E, quarter note E. All right, we want to make sure that that's not too slow. And then after the fermata, the accented 16th notes, don't play those too short. Okay, a lot of people tend to play those very short. Don't play them short. Play them long. Tongue them, but don't play short. Da 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 ta 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 yararam pa dam. Okay, so make sure that you're playing those accented 16th notes. Play them all long. Don't play them short. Fast trill and then relax it a little bit so that you end the trill on the F and play F E D sharp E A in a tempo. Da ram pam 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 pam. That's how I would phrase it, okay? The name of the game with this etude is to make sure that it is very lyrical, that when you play the phrases, you get a good breath in, let a good breath out. Don't hitch in your breath. Make sure that you're getting good, secure attacks at the beginnings of your phrases, and make sure that you're where it says tempo 1, primo 1, after rallentano, you're going back into the original tempo. You're not playing back in a slow tempo. All right, good luck and happy practicing.